What started as a normal winter weekend in the Sierra Nevada turned into a full-scale shutdown almost overnight. Steel and asphalt vanished under a fast-growing blanket of snow, and by early Sunday, Northern California crossed a breaking point. A powerful blizzard slammed into the mountains, overwhelming highways, stranding travelers, and forcing emergency crews into non-stop response mode. This wasn't a slow buildup. It was a sudden loss of movement. Interstate 80, one of the most important east-west routes in the western United States, was shut down after relentless snowfall and intense wind gusts triggered spinouts near Donner Pass. Vehicles stalled where they sat. Traffic locked up. Drivers found themselves trapped, with no safe way forward and no way back. Around Lake Tahoe, snow piled up faster than plows could clear it. Strong winds pushed snow across the roads, wiping out lane markings, burying guardrails, and reducing visibility to just a few feet. At higher elevations, snowfall wasn't measured in inches anymore, it was measured in feet. Gusts nearing 70 miles per hour turned open highways into blinding white tunnels. State officials warned that conditions were no longer just dangerous. They were life-threatening. Avalanche risk spiked. Power outages spread. Emergency crews shifted focus from traffic control to crisis response. What had started as a winter storm quickly became a regional emergency. And this wasn't just about canceled trips or delayed plans. It was a stark reminder of how fast modern infrastructure can unravel when extreme weather takes over, and how fragile mobility becomes once the mountains decide to shut everything down. Residents were urged to stay inside. Roads were abandoned. The Sierra effectively closed its gates. What made the situation worse was that the storm didn't arrive all at once. It came in waves. Each new surge of snow and wind added pressure to an already strained system. Snow began falling late Friday. At first, it seemed manageable. But hour by hour, conditions deteriorated until control was no longer possible. By the time the blizzard reached full strength, Northern California wasn't just dealing with a storm. It was dealing with a standstill. By Saturday night, everything changed. Colder air settled in, and moisture streaming in from the Pacific supercharged the snowfall. Meteorologists explained that the storm stalled right over Northern California, dumping snow nonstop for hours. Temperatures stayed well below freezing, so nothing melted. Every time a snowplow cleared the road, wind pushed fresh snow right back onto the pavement. In the mountain passes, drifting snow stacked into thick walls, reshaping the roadway hour by hour. By early Sunday morning, the impact was impossible to ignore. Traffic slowed, then stopped. Even vehicles with tire chains struggled to stay in control as packed snow turned into solid ice. On exposed stretches of highway, sudden wind gusts swept across the road, dropping visibility to near zero in seconds. Drivers had no warning. One moment the road was visible, the next it was gone. Emergency alerts escalated as spinouts increased. What had been forecast as a severe winter storm was now delivering near-blizzard conditions, overwhelming both drivers and road crews. State transportation officials admitted the storm was moving faster than clearing operations could keep up with. Safety took priority over access. Keeping roads open simply wasn't possible. The unpredictable snowfall made planning nearly impossible. Routes that looked passable at sunrise became impassable by mid-morning. Drivers who had already committed to the mountain crossing found themselves trapped inside a system that refused to move on. By midday, officials confirmed what many feared. This was no longer a brief disruption. It was a prolonged weather event capable of shutting down the Sierra for an extended period, and conditions were still getting worse. By Sunday afternoon, Northern California's mountain transportation network had effectively stopped functioning. The disruption stretched far beyond a single highway, unfolding instead as a widespread shutdown forced by weather that left no margin for mistakes. Snowfall reports from across the Sierra Nevada confirmed just how serious the situation had become. At higher elevations, the numbers told a serious story. More than 2 feet of snow had already fallen since Friday, and forecasts warned that another 1 to 3 feet could still be on the way. Powerful winds kept redistributing that snow non-stop, piling it into deep drifts that swallowed disabled vehicles and erased the edges of the roadway. The shutdown of Interstate 80 at Donner Pass became the most visible symbol of the crisis. Vehicles lost traction and blocked lanes, triggering gridlock that stretched toward the Nevada state line. California Highway Patrol officers were eventually forced to stop traffic completely, turning drivers around as whiteout conditions made continued travel impossible. Nearby routes quickly followed the same pattern. State Route 88 was closed after repeated spinouts and avalanche mitigation made travel unsafe. Routes 50, 89, and 267 faced rolling closures as crews struggled to keep up with constantly changing conditions. Chain control checkpoints turned into bottlenecks, with long lines of vehicles waiting for clearance that never came. Visibility changed without warning. At times, drivers could see only a few feet ahead. Even experienced winter drivers couldn't tell where the pavement ended and the shoulder began. Four-wheel drive vehicles slid sideways under strong crosswinds, proving that equipment alone couldn't defeat the storm. Officials made it clear this wasn't a traffic delay. It was a transportation failure driven by nature. With multiple highways closed at the same time and snowfall measured in feet instead of inches, the Sierra Nevada became a barrier no vehicle could cross safely. As roads shut down one by one, the human impact of the storm came sharply into focus. Hundreds of motorists were left stranded along mountain corridors, surrounded by blowing snow and frozen traffic. Near Donner Pass, drivers waited for hours as snowfall intensified. Engines idled just to keep heaters running, burning through fuel while temperatures stayed well below freezing. Wind-driven snow slammed into vehicles from every direction, icing over windows and mirrors and reducing visibility to almost nothing. For many, even stepping outside the car became dangerous. In the Lake Tahoe region, communities shifted into emergency mode. Resorts and local facilities opened their doors as temporary shelters, offering warmth, food, and restrooms to travelers who couldn't move forward or turn back. Law enforcement officers went vehicle by vehicle, checking on drivers and passengers, watching for low fuel levels, medical needs, and signs of cold exposure. Despite mandatory chain requirements, traction remained unreliable. Cars slid at low speeds. Semi-trucks jackknifed on steep inclines. Every stalled vehicle became another obstacle, adding to delays and increasing the danger for everyone behind it. By this point, the storm wasn't just controlling the roads. It was controlling everything. Tow trucks struggled to reach disabled vehicles, and in many cases, recovery operations had to be delayed or canceled entirely due to low visibility and avalanche concerns. Emergency responders were operating in near-impossible conditions. Snowplows cleared lanes, only to watch them disappear again minutes later. Patrol units moved at walking speed, navigating by memory instead of sight. Officials warned that trying to push through the storm only increased the risk of becoming stranded. By Sunday night, the message from authorities was unmistakable. Anyone still on the roads was putting themselves in serious danger. Familiar mountain highways had turned into isolated corridors where time, fuel, and safety were all in short supply. As snow continued to pile up, officials made it clear that the crisis had grown beyond transportation. The blizzard triggered a cascade of secondary threats, placing entire communities at risk. Avalanche danger surged across the Sierra Nevada. Forecasters explained that rapid snowfall combined with strong winds created unstable layers in the snowpack. Entire slopes were now primed to slide with little warning. Controlled avalanche operations were scheduled in several areas, but ongoing snowfall and poor visibility forced crews to delay or suspend those efforts, leaving roads and mountain towns exposed. At the same time, heavy snow and ice began putting serious strain on power infrastructure. Tree limbs loaded with wet snow snapped and fell onto power lines. Utility companies reported hundreds of power outages across Northern California, with some rural areas facing extended outages. For residents who rely on electric heating, the situation became even more dangerous. With temperatures staying well below freezing, emergency managers warned of additional risks: blocked access for first responders, slower response times, and the possibility of medical emergencies in isolated homes. By this point, the storm wasn't just disrupting travel. It was testing the resilience of entire communities. Snow-covered roofs began carrying dangerous weight, raising concerns about structural stress on older buildings and mountain cabins. The storm also disrupted supply lines. Delivery trucks couldn't reach mountain towns, and grocery stores reported delays in restocking basic items. Fuel deliveries were postponed, increasing anxiety for stranded motorists and residents in remote areas. Meteorologists described the situation as a layered winter emergency, where each problem made the next one worse. Snow closed roads. Closed roads delayed repairs. Delayed repairs increased vulnerability. And the longer the storm stayed in place, the more complicated recovery became. By Sunday evening, officials emphasized that the region wasn't just facing a blizzard, but an extended period of instability, one where danger extended far beyond what drivers could see through a windshield. Experts explained that this storm wasn't simply about heavy snowfall. It was the result of a rare combination of factors lining up at the worst possible time. Unlike fast-moving winter systems, this storm stalled over Northern California, allowing extreme conditions to persist without relief. A deep stream of Pacific moisture continued feeding into the Sierra Nevada, while a cold air mass remained locked in place. With temperatures staying well below freezing, all precipitation fell as snow, building up rapidly instead of melting or compacting. Strong winds higher in the atmosphere acted as a force multiplier, redistributing snow across highways, mountain passes, and steep slopes faster than crews could respond. Elevation made everything worse. As moist air was forced upward over the Sierra crest, snowfall rates increased sharply, especially above 7,000 feet. In these areas, snow fell faster than plows could physically remove it. Even freshly cleared lanes vanished within minutes as drifting rebuilt snowbanks and erased visual markers. Climate scientists also pointed to a larger pattern. Warmer ocean temperatures have increased atmospheric moisture, leading to winter storms that deliver more precipitation in shorter, more intense bursts. When those bursts line up with sustained cold, the result is deeper snowpack, heavier loads, and much higher avalanche risk. Infrastructure struggled to keep up. Chain controls, emergency closures, and mitigation plans are designed for severe storms, but not for prolonged extremes measured in feet of snow and days of near-zero visibility. As forecasters tracked conditions into Monday, one reality became clear. This storm didn't just disrupt travel. It exposed the limits of the system itself. It exposed the limits of modern infrastructure when faced with prolonged, high-impact winter weather, a challenge experts say is likely to become more common in the years ahead. As snowfall finally began to ease, officials warned that the most dangerous phase of the storm was not completely over. Snow-packed highways, unstable mountain slopes, and lingering whiteout zones meant reopening routes across the Sierra Nevada would be slow and carefully controlled. Travelers were urged to avoid all non-essential mountain travel until conditions fully stabilized. Authorities cautioned that impatience could quickly turn recovery efforts into new emergencies. Emergency crews stayed on high alert, not just clearing roads, but monitoring avalanche zones, restoring power, and checking on isolated communities. Any sudden temperature change or additional snowfall had the potential to undo hard-won progress. Officials stressed that storms of this intensity leave behind hidden dangers. Black ice, weakened snowpack, and structural stress can remain long after the skies clear. This blizzard delivered a sobering reminder. Even in a state known for advanced infrastructure and innovation, nature still sets the rules. In just a few days, familiar highways disappeared, supply chains stalled, and movement across entire regions came to a halt. Extreme weather is no longer a rare event. It is an ongoing test of preparation, judgment, and respect for warnings. Authorities emphasized a simple message: stay informed, follow official guidance, and plan ahead. In mountain environments, timing and restraint save lives. If you want to stay updated on major weather events and natural disasters around the world, like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel, because awareness isn't just information, it's protection.